Welcome back, everyone. So this Ficus Ginseng, or microcarpa, that's been grafted on. So whilst I'm chatting in this bit, I'm just removing some sphagnum moss that I put on there to try and grow some aerial roots, really. Bit of a backstory, so this tree I've had for about 5 years, I believe. I actually got this for a Secret Santa from work. One of the other guys I work with bought me it. So I've had it since then, and I was never really a fan of ginseng because of the potato kind of shaped roots. They look a bit like sweet potatoes. But obviously, as it as a gift, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna be that guy and be like, yeah, thanks but no thanks kind of thing. So yeah, it's been kind of a tree that I was training on, I suppose, at first. And then now I kind of know what I can do to help it. I've been trying to do that. So for the last 2 years, I've been trying to grow aerial roots from either the branches or higher up the trunk itself, and that's just to cover the potato roots. People have said cut them off and cut off at the graft and kind of grow it as a microcarpa instead, but I just haven't got the heart in me to chop off the bottom of a tree that someone gave to me. So yeah, we keep on trying, but as I say, for 2 years I've tried this. So it was actually in a bonsai pot. I was first kind of like, the first kind of research I've done pointed more towards let it get root bound, and then it should start pushing aerial roots, obviously if the humidity's high. So I had it in a bonsai pot. It was fairly root bound, and then I put it into a plastic container, like one of them plastic storage boxes. Left it out in the sun all summer. I lifted the box every now and then for a bit of air, but yeah, nothing really happened there. And then I tried a Coke bottle trick. Kind of cut up a Coke bottle and put that around the base, and that didn't really work either. This is probably the most successful I've been with kind of aerial roots, and they're not even that great. But it got to the point where the tree was so moist all the time, I started losing leaves and I had a lot of dieback. So it's about time that I kind of refresh things. There's actually another YouTube channel called Bonsify that I saw the trick of using perlite, but coarser kind of like thicker bits of perlite. Which I understand, scientifically speaking, roots can't penetrate perlite because it's glass, basically it's like fired glass. So instead they have to grow around it when the water doesn't penetrate perlite either. It has to run around it, so the roots would grow around the perlite and then eventually reach the soil floor. So, I mean, it has worked to a certain extent. I've got some there, they're very fine. I don't know if they're going to dry out. But I mean, at the end of this video, I do actually pack them back a little bit. And I've now got a new method, which is just a straight plastic bag over the top. But in the meantime, there's been a lot of structural kind of issues going on. I kind of let it grow freely for about 2 years. I was cutting back the edges, but I wasn't really cutting back big branches, and I thought the stronger the tree is, the more it might push some aerial roots. Don't know if that worked or not, to be honest. But it's now got to the point where I've now got a lot of problems in the tree, whereas, extensions are growing a bit too long, internodes are getting longer. Branches are darting back into the tree, and it's going to be quite a big reduction here to kind of get it back to the base shape or the structure that I want, and then we'll grow it out from there again. The top half of this tree is actually quite nice. I don't think I've done too bad with that, but it is that root base that is troubling for me. So, like always, I'm going through and I'm cutting back anything that's kind of bar branching. Multiple kind of branches growing from the same direction. Branches that are growing straight towards the viewer, as this will be the front. And trying to prune back for direction as well where I can. You know, luckily Ficus are tough old things, and this will bounce back in no time, especially when I put it back out in summer. I don't think there'll be any issues with it bouncing back. And the amount of cuttings I take from this tree is actually quite unreal. I'll have to show you one day all the microcarpa cuttings I've got from this, and sometimes I sell them for like, you know, £3-4, just sell them on, and there's some that I've kept. Trying to make marmee or shohin size trees out of them. You know, all of this tree so far, there's actually 2 grafts, so one front, one back, which is kind of usual when you buy these kind of trees, and they're more like house plants than actual bonsai trees when you first get them. And all of this was grown from one single straight branch that grew out the front. I've got videos further back of this tree. Unfortunately, this is one of my first trees, so when I first started my bonsai adventure, I didn't record anything. Didn't even take any pictures because I thought, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I still don't. But, you know, watching people like Nigel Saunders and other YouTube creators, it's nice to kind of record your stuff and look back, even if no one else really wants to watch it. You know, I know a lot of you guys still watch a lot of my videos, and I appreciate that. But it's just nice to record your own journey and look back on trees and how far they've come. And I wish I would have done that with this one. So as far as length for branches, this is kind of the length that I'm after. I don't want to go any bigger than this, width wise. Obviously now that's the main trunk leader there. I need to grow some more branches off of that. Create a bit more of an apex rather than it's just a bunch of random bush. It's just a bunch of random leaves at the moment. I've got a lot of branching coming off from lower down the tree, which usually would be quite a good thing, but it's now getting a bit thick. And it's putting the tree out of context kind of thing, out of scale. It does seem to me as well like the microcarpa part of the graft is growing thicker than the joining part, which again could be a problem. But this is where I want to grow the aerial roots. If I can get them off of, you know, the bottom 2 branches and kind of dangle them over the root base over time, that will look more like a fluted kind of root base. And I have still got options as well. So in terms of the root base, this root on the right here, I could potentially eliminate that, keep the one on the left, and then the one that's kind of clinging on at the front. I've seen other ways that you can do it. Nigel Saunders has done it, and I know a lot of people in Thailand do it. They get a razor blade and they actually cut the roots themselves, like the thicker roots, and then spread them out so it looks like more miniature roots rather than one big thick potato root. That could also be an option. And of course, the one that I really don't want to do is basically take it as a cutting, cut off the microcarpa part, bin the ginseng bit, and grow it as a microcarpa. But I don't really want to be doing that. I don't think it would offend the person that bought me it, but I don't know, just feels wrong. I think when designing a tree or pruning back or styling, I suppose, for the first time, or even second or third time you're styling it, really. It's good to be able to keep spinning the tree around and looking at it from all angles. I think when I first started with the bonsai stuff, I very much just saw the front of the tree and styled it from the front, which, you know, is the main view, right? That's the main view people are going to see. But then you forget that in real life it isn't kind of 2D. It's 3D, and people can look around the tree. And I've got a lot of trees that have got no backside, or they're not filled out in certain places, and there's something I'm trying to work on. Now I kind of feel like I've got a bit of the fundamentals down with, you know, where like branch placement and trying to correct inverse tape and all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to keep back branches, and I don't know, really just trying to figure out how that'll all work and how I can make the tree look good from any angle, but obviously the front will be the main angle. Now I'll be throwing some wire on some of these branches. Some of them are going to be laying down just to make sure that they don't grow up too fast, because this one, this thicker one here at the front, which I'm going to wire in a minute, I believe, started kind of outperforming the leader a little bit. You know, when all your branches are pointing up towards the sky, you can kind of cause your leader to suffer. And also those branches get way too thick as well. So this branch on the left of the front here, which I'm wiring into now, has been thickening up quite a lot. And I mean, if you look back at the previous video of this tree, there was a lot of tighter growth, so there was more growth on the interior of the branches. And again, where I've kind of let it grow, they've kind of shaded themselves out, they've died off. You know, you can see at the beginning of the video how many dead leaves there were. And then it's all just grown out of the tips now, which is not something you want for a tree this small. So part of the reason for the cutback, obviously let more light in. And then ficus just seem to backbud from branches and stuff as soon as they get a bit of sunlight, so shouldn't be a problem. Just trying to correct some of these branches because I feel like they're a bit too in your face, a bit too straight maybe. So just giving a bit of natural angle there. So what I'm thinking of doing here is, so I've got this quite a thick branch really, but it dives off into secondaries, and then it goes off again into I suppose you call them tertiaries, which is quite a good ramification already, although they are getting a little bit long. But I'm just trying to give them different levels because I don't like, you know, you are trying to form pads, but I don't want just one pad just kind of sitting there and it looks a bit pom-pomish, right? I'd rather have a bit of gappage so I can have the first secondary branch on this being one pad and the second secondary branch being another pad just above it, kind of thing. So there's a little bit of space there. And this is just stuff like trying to get further into the design and how you can actually work a ficus, and other species as well, I suppose. They all kind of work the same way. And again, a bit like my previous boxwood video, this is setting it up for the next year or two. You know, I don't by any means think that by the end of this video, this is how I want the tree to look, final form. You know, we have to make cuts now to enhance the tree in the future, and then every time you touch a tree, it should get a little bit better. So wiring ficus is quite easy, and they are quite bendy, I suppose you could call them. I mean, they have got latex inside, which is the white kind of stuff that comes out when you cut them. So you know, as long as the branch isn't stupidly old, you can bend them quite a bit. The problem I find is that the wire cuts in quickly on a ficus. Ficus can grow very quickly and they thicken quickly. You can end up with quite big scars. Now, I'm not saying wire scars are the biggest issue in the world, but it's something you want to kind of avoid, really, if you want to give it a natural look, like a hand's never touched it kind of thing. So even with this one, I'm using this kind of back branch to then bend round and become like a higher branch on the right. Yeah, it's a bit rudimentary, really, like, you know, branch on the left, a little bit up, branch on the right, a little bit up, branch on the left, back branch, you know, that kind of stuff. But that is just the kind of structure that you have to go for. I mean, the back branch is just there for depth and to try and give a bit of a 3D look, even when you're watching it on camera or taking photos, etc. Tut tut tut, using scissors on wire. That's how you end up with blunt scissors. I have to keep on buying more and more and more. You know, I try to use a 2-branch method with wiring whenever I can, but there are some times where it's just not possible. So what I've done there is a preformed hook. Something that I kind of done myself once, but then realised when I was watching a Bonsai Mirai video that it's actually called a preformed hook. I wouldn't, obviously I'm not going to say I'm great at wiring, but I'm not too bad. You know, it gets better every time you practice it, and it is practice makes perfect with wiring. You learn a lot from making mistakes as well. And really there all I'm trying to do is just give a bit more space to these younger branches near the top of the tree, get them a bit of light so then they can grow on. And a bit of a cinematic view here. And the damage cam. If you liked today's video, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that bell notification for future videos.